Europe is rebuilding its munitions backbone, NATO is laying new battle lines, and BRICS is quietly re-envisioning global finance. I am Mandatory Fun Day. This is Worldwide Wednesday. Here's everything you need to know in a couple minutes. At the very end of this video, I'm going to be reading comments from a previous video that I found funny, insightful, hurtful, or some other emotion that I can't articulate because I joined the United States military and read at the 3rd grade level. I don't actually read at the 3rd grade. I did go to college. It was online college. It was a fake college, but I went to college. It's an exercise science degree. Mostly what I learned is 45 plus 45 is 135. Starting off in NATO's neck of the woods, we have Sweden's new TNT factory. A Swedish startup known as Sweden Ballistics, or Swebal, has secured approximately 3 million euro to begin... has secured approximately 3 million euro, and they've used it to build Europe's first TNT factory in 30 years. And it's going to have full production capability sometime around late 2027. Wile E. Coyote is absolutely salivating. Once it's operational, the facility is going to run 24/7. It's going to produce an absolutely massive amount of TNT. 4,000 to 4,500 tons of it annually. Again, Wile E. Coyote is salivating. This is going to equate to a 75% bump in NATO's existing European-made TNT supply. It's also going to employ about 50 people, which is kind of cool. It's kind of shocking to me that 50 people can bump TNT supply by that much. Shocking and concerning, but that's not a conversation for today. Currently, Europe's only other significant TNT source is Poland. They produce approximately 12,000 tons a year, and that's largely already been pledged to the U.S. Russia commands production of approximately 50,000 tons of TNT and roughly 5 million artillery shells annually. But this isn't really about urgency, it's about strategic resilience. This is creating a stable local pipeline for certain things that are deemed essential that were previously imported. Countries want to be more self-reliant. As volume triples, NATO's ammunition gap is going to narrow, but Europe will still lag behind Russia's massive industrial scale. Russia may interpret this not just as practicality, but as provocation. TNT isn't tagged for Ukraine, it's for deterrence against future threats. Strategically, this is significant because it signals to adversaries and allies that Europe is thinking long-term. They want to bolster their defense industrial base, and they don't believe that is optional or a luxury anymore. It's totally fine that Sweden, a historically neutral country, is building up to make TNT, and Europe in general is increasing its military industrial base. I don't remember another time when this has happened in history. Do you see this as a clever buffer against supply chain fragility or an escalation in military posture? The video is not over, but if you head over to themandatoryfunday.com, you can support me even further. For any of you going through hard times financially right now, please do not feel like you have to buy merch. If you have the extra cash to do so, I really appreciate it. We've got shirts, hats, coffee mugs, water bottles. We've also got a link for regulation compliant shirts and a members only exclusive section of the website. In the members only exclusive section, you can get access to exclusive content and a 20% discount on all merchandise purchases. Thank you so much for watching. You don't have to go buy merch to support me. You making it this far into the video is already good enough. But if you've made it this far, watch to the end. Let's get back to it. Next up, Germany, together with its allied partners, has unveiled a military aid package worth up to $500 million, delivered via a new NATO supply line. I've talked about this in a couple videos, at least one other, but I think it's worth mentioning again because this is significant. The Netherlands commit roughly 500 million euro in air defense systems, ammo, and support. Sweden, Denmark, and Norway will contribute $500 million more. Germany has already provided approximately 40 billion euro, $47 billion roughly, in military aid since the outbreak of the war in 2022. Deliveries of U.S. manufactured equipment are still underway, with Nordic contributions arriving in September. These are tailored to Ukraine's evolving battlefield needs. A lot of them having to do with, air defense. The new NATO supply line is as much a logistical statement as a military one. It sends a signal of nimble, coordinated sustainment across borders. Germany and partners are demonstrating multi-year commitment, not just emergency support. The scale is significant because it reflects prioritization. Prioritization of Ukraine's air defense amid Russia's relentless strikes. Russia is pounding them day and night, and they need to use protection. That sounded weird. Russia could target or disrupt supply corridors, therefore NATO must concurrently build defense redundancy in logistics. Redundancy is massively important in logistics because if you have one supply chain and it gets tagged, whatever was going is not going anymore. And there is nothing that you put on a logistics supply chain that somebody doesn't really want or probably need. Water, fuel, rounds, food, you name it. Should NATO sustain such large aid packages indefinitely or pivot to reinforcing its own borders once Ukraine stabilizes? UK's defense secretary announced that the UK is prepared to put boots on the ground in Ukraine once the ceasefire is reached, primarily to help rebuild Ukrainian defense capability. They want to secure the ceasefire and they want to stabilize air and sea corridors. This initiative is part of the Coalition of the Willing, coordinated via Paris. That has over 200 planners from 30 nations working through joint headquarters to design deployment plans as we speak. If this is enacted, it's going to be a deployment of NATO-aligned ground personnel into Ukraine, and it will all be non-combat support roles. But I mean, this is a really, really significant move, and it's funny because this is exactly the opposite of what Russia wants. Russia doesn't even want NATO troops in Poland. They definitely don't want NATO troops in Ukraine. The coalition's coordinated planning hints at broader European readiness to act even if U.S. involvement wavers. Is sending troops for stabilization smart peace building, or could it provoke a deeper confrontation with Russia? India has officially stated that de-dollarization is not part of its financial agenda. And this is occurring as BRICS continues to discuss alternative currencies. India has been emphasizing expanding its local currency trade within BRICS. India's stance reflects pragmatism. It's a balancing act. They want to cooperate with BRICS goals, but they want to maintain Western economic access. The divergence within BRICS underscores internal economic heterogeneity. I used two really big words. Divergence isn't just a movie, okay? India follows trade ties. China and Russia push geopolitical restructuring. By focusing on local trade systems without abandoning the dollar, India is safeguarding itself in the best way that it can. Global finance access while bolstering its autonomy. It's a nuanced hedging strategy. Honestly, it's probably the best strategy that they could have. It's really ideal for them, but it's gonna create problems with BRICS. Members of BRICS, specifically the more major members of BRICS, are gonna look at this as fence sitting more than likely, and they're gonna try and push India to stop. Is India's balanced approach diplomatic brilliance, or is it hedging its bets too much? Brazil's president announced plans to host a virtual BRICS summit. They clearly have no issues with remote work. Do not tell anyone in the US government right now. These are gonna be aimed at, crafting a response to US tariffs, a collective response from all the members, which have been escalated. Brazil itself has seen some significant tariffs on some of its exports. The summit aims to position BRICS as an emerging economic counterblock, using summits, virtual or otherwise, to showcase unity. They want to make it look like BRICS is making moves, They don't want to look like they aren't doing anything. Pushing WTO consultations signals that BRICS prefers an institutional response, not knee-jerk retaliation. But given the Trump administration's unpredictable tariff threats, BRICS must balance rhetoric with real economic tools, tariff wars, and financial infrastructure. Do you think a virtual summit is enough, or does BRICS need tangible economic tools to fight back? BRICS has continued progress on BRICS Pay. That is not a satirical Saturday Night Live skit making fun of Apple Pay. This is a real thing. It's a decentralized payment messaging system. It's intended to bypass SWIFT and enable local currency settlements across member states. It includes fintech cooperation, gateway infrastructure work, and interoperability planning, especially between China, Russia, Brazil, and a few others. Now, there has been talk of shared currency among members of BRICS. That is really, really pretty much theoretical at this point. It's not institutionally strong, but BRICS Pay is something concrete and real that they can do now, and it offers, a shift. It offers something real, not just rhetoric. It is super, super attractive to smaller economies that want alternatives, to the US dollar, especially amid sanctions. And if it scales, BRICS Pay could become a very, very real, significant financial lever, especially in regional trade corridors. Could BRICS Pay become mainstream, or will dollars still dominate for big players? What do you think? All right, now it's time for the comments. Bevan Shirley 8263 says, "You pretty sharp for a fellow that walks a fine line between absolutely nuts and just holding it together. Good work." Thank you. Thank you so much. Can you guys see how closely I'm riding the line of insanity? The Geopolitics videos are my favorite. The funny one's good, but these are way better. Live Laugh Toaster Bath and Live Laugh TLSA. I don't know what that second one is. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry, Scott. I appreciate you being here. Thank you for the kind words. This guy is good at reading military operations. He should be an officer or something in the army. Oh, goodness. I did that. I still do it, unfortunately. Mernielak said, okay, Eminem, slow down just a bit. LOLOL. You know, I'm going to take that advice. I'll slow down a little bit. Literally, sometimes my abs hurt. I talk so fast. Cool Pokeball, my brother. Jolteon is my favorite evolution. My favorite evolution as well. This is 3D printed. Oh, I didn't turn on the potion light. Sorry, guys. Colt said, please add timestamps or bookmarks for the start of each subtopic so it's easier to refer to. Big thanks. Hey, brother, I really appreciate the constructive criticism. Right now, it is the team is just two of us. So it's me and my best friend, Steve Wise. And so he's doing a great job. He's the one doing the editing for these videos, and he does a lot of other stuff for me as well. He actually did mention that he wants to start doing that. So we're working on it, and we're going to get to it as quick as we can. You just got to be patient with us. I really appreciate you being here though, and I appreciate that you've watched enough of these where you're trying to make us better. That means a lot. Whitebread 7009. Love your videos, but maybe slow down a bit. You read that pretty fast. Yeah. I'll slow the teleprompter down, y'all. Vazia said, imagine if this was China's actual full plan and bro just gave it all away and now they have to change their plan. To be crazy. Can you imagine if some Yahoo with a camera in his garage figured out what China's entire full plan was? Can you imagine how crazy that would be? Great video, but my ears winced at your pronunciation of Taijiang and Tainan. Yeah, I know. Here are their phonetic spellings. Keep up the great videos. I get it, guy. I mispronounce things all the time. People give me crap for it all the time. I'm sorry. I'm doing my best. Slow down, buddy. We're not on the clock here. One clamp, 2470. Brother, I don't know why you just have one clamp when two will do just twice as good. You can clamp twice as many things. Zapdos Pokemon card. Zapdos Pokemon card? Where? Oh, yeah, the coin. God bless. Sorry that took so long. Thank you, Stefan Lowe. That is a Zapdos Pokemon card coin. Me, myself, IY7LU. Bet you won't talk even faster in your next vid. Challenge accepted. You guys see patches on the back wall. You see coins on the coin board. If you have any interest in sending me one, I will proudly display it. My P.O. box will be displayed on the screen here. My P.O. box is also at the top of my website, themandatoryfunday.com.